This podcast is brought to you by Primary Arms. Primary Arms seeks to provide the best shopping experience for everything firearms. With over 13,000 products from over 400 top brands, Primary Arms carries a complete selection of rifles, handguns, firearms parts, shooting gear, apparel, and more. Every order comes with a commitment to superior service, backed by fast shipping and an expert support team. Primary Arms, serving freedom since 2008. Find out more at frn.deals/PA. Welcome to the AR-15 podcast. This show is for you if you just bought your first rifle or if you've been building them for years. There is something we can all do to take our black rifles to the next level. My name is Nick Dooley, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Garth Over.
Hi, I'm Garth.
And Tyler Rockle.
Hey there.
So how are you guys doing today?
Well, I'm not sure yet. I just unboxed a new toy, and I'm going to put it away while we do the podcast. But it's an AR crossbow. This is the lower for it. For those watching online. And I'm excited for this thing. Immensely.
Hold up the box. The picture on the box is pretty damn cool. You can see the whole thing. Don't drop it. It's brand new.
It's already been dropped like 4 times.
Huh.
This AR-6 Stinger 2 by Steamboat.
That's very cool.
So yeah.
You can use that in the next 3-gun match.
You know, I bought enough arrows. I probably could. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It has 90 pounds of, so it's got 220 feet per second.
I believe they would call those bolts, Garth.
Sure. This is all very new to me, okay? This was a spur-of-the-moment purchase.
Where'd you find that anyway? Did you get it offline?
Yeah, I actually found it online. I saw something on Instagram one day. I can't remember which tactical Instagram it was, and they had it. They were shooting it. It's a repeating crossbow. Six bolts go in that little thing, and you gotta like break it open to reload it.
Okay.
And then
not mag fed then?
No, not mag fed. It drops in. It's like a top loading magazine. Kinda.
Sure. That's still pretty cool.
Like the old stripper clips.
Yeah. Although it doesn't go ping at the very end, so.
Well, that was an end block loader. The stripper clips were, like generally 6 to 10 rounds that would just slide in and strip down, and you just shove them in and have a little piece of metal left over.
Yeah, I'm not all sweaty. I'm just full of this freaking white.
Might be the light. You're glistening.
Am I glistening? I mean, I just did have steak fajitas, and they were a little spicy. So, I mean, I guess I could be glistening. So, I'll cool down with a nice summer candy.
Hydrate. Good job, Garth.
Fair enough. So Garth bought an AR crossbow. Did you do anything else gun related this week?
I did, actually. I had a pretty fun-filled weekend for an Easter weekend, man. Got the little first responder action going on. Went to church with you on Friday. Sighted some guns in. Took out my Scar 17 because I did a scope swap because, I like to do those every 6 months. So
I change them out.
Yeah. So I took out the Scar and sighted that back in and took out my SIG M400 and sighted that in. And, man, I'll tell you what. I forgot how much I love shooting that M400. It's fantastic. You know what my absolute favorite part of that gun is?
What's that?
It's the grip on it, because it's a VZ grips. And VZ grips are great because they're made from a solid block of G10. G10 is amazing because it's durable and it doesn't get slippery when covered in mud blood, or sweat. They have a 17-degree grip angle and come in a wide variety of textures from mild to extreme with 27 color options. They also have 1911 grips, CZ grips, SIG grips, and revolver grips. And the coupon code for all handguard and rifle grips is AR-15 podcast at vzgrips.com.
Yeah, I still got to get my VZ grip from you guys. That last
Me
one that
too.
came in.
I keep going to Dooley's house and seeing it, and he hands it to me, and then I set it down. We start doing things, and then I forget it.
So it's going to be all good and molested by the time I even get to touch it?
Oh no,
that's yours, Tyler, and that is disgusting.
Yours is still in the packaging.
Oh, okay. Right on.
But yeah, that grip texture that you got, Tyler.
Yeah.
You better get some calluses on your hands because.
Perfect.
For those who have those smooth hands like this right now, that thing is like sandpaper.
Really?
It's
looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's what I would call aggressive.
Very aggressive.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I definitely really like it, and I cannot wait for. Well, I have lowers on the way here and some other gun stuff parts, and this one is going on another. This will be on a competition gun once again, but it will be on my competition 9 PCC.
You're putting that in your account? Holy crap! That's an intense grip, man. Seriously.
It should not shock you, Garth.
No, it doesn't. But it's just it's there. I mean, it's like anyone who touches your gun at competition, like, oh yeah, try this out. They're gonna instantly throw it back. What is that?
I think I put spikes on the grip so somebody else can touch it.
Yeah.
Well, it has the grip texture of you guys remember that 80s movie Bloodsport with like Jean-Claude Van Damme where they'd wrap their fists and then like stick them in the glue or the whatever liquid and then roll their fists in broken glass.
Yeah, that's
before the fight.
Basically that grip.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Right on.
I am looking forward to it and will thoroughly enjoy it. Tyler, did you do anything?
Kind of gun related, not really. I mean, I literally spent the entire weekend. We're doing another production run for Trigger Interactive, so I hand assembled about 100 smart target attachments this weekend. Placed our next order of circuit boards. So ordered about 800 more circuit boards for 600 more smart target attachments and control hubs, and just gearing up for the shooting season. People are going to be getting back outside, and yeah, so kind of gun related, but not really.
No, it is.
Well, and that's like foreshadowing into this week's topic.
Yeah,
a little bit, yeah.
But I did a little bit of gun related stuff. I had to use one, but it wasn't an AR, and it was just for ranching purposes. So it was not one of those things that you wanted to do, but you know, right. Oh yeah, well, yeah, you just have to have a gun with you. So take care of some issues that come up sometimes and end suffering.
Yeah.
But no, I did not do a lot other than like I kind of started going through what it is that we're going to talk about with this week because I didn't put a title up on this episode because like 383 for some reason I wanted to call it the Stroker episode, but I figured that would be taken a couple different ways, and but when we talk about like we say the shooting season. Now, granted, we do all of us do go out and shoot and train and we'll shoot when the weather is bad and poor and things of that nature. But there is definitely, for us up here in the Northlands, a shooting season.
Yeah.
For sure. I think mine started today. I got a 1022 at the farm and just walked around the farmyard for like a half hour because it was so dang nice out.
Yeah, we hit 80 degrees.
You guys hit
Hey.
80?
Yeah,
We got 70.
Holy crap.
yeah. The pickup said 80 today.
Wow.
And yeah, I was getting my garage put back together so I can reload 308 for my AR-10s again.
You know the neatest thing for people listening? It hit 80 where Dewey lives. A week ago, it was blizzarding.
Yeah.
It was like 4 feet of snow on the ground.
Yeah, quite literally 6 days ago, we got 14 inches of snow.
Yeah. And now it's 80 degrees. Fantastic. What's the weather like in South Dakota? I don't know. Wait an hour.
Go home, Mother Nature, you're drunk.
No shit.
But so it is awfully muddy, and then I was doing some other, ranchy and work and farm things and getting all that. So I had all of the intentions of going to the range, and our friend Pastor Craig was going to go out there as well because we both have some rifles to do some work with. And I just never got that done, but I started to go through some of the things that I need to have happen for the rest of the year. And that's kind of one of the reasons why we're doing this is, what do you do to get ready for shooting season?
Mm.
And I, oh, here it goes. So Pew Pew Trucker apparently escaped Rapid City right when that storm was kicking off.
Probably
so
a
he
good
does
thing.
know. Yeah, there was some bad things with the weather and what is happening with those trucks.
Yeah. Pretty brutal out there.
Oh yeah.
And
But yeah.
Oh,
No,
go ahead, brother.
I was just gonna say, like for me, it's kind of a step-by-step process where I'm doing a little bit here and there to kind of build up into it. Garth, he mentioned something that's always good to do, and that's just re-zero. Now I know you had, swapped around some optics, so it was definitely needed. But one thing I like to do is definitely check the zero on all of my weapons for the first time that I take them out, because that just kind of sets the tone for the rest of the year. Because I mean, even if you have quality optics, stuff can get banged around in the old gun safe there or whatnot, or while you're working on it or cleaning it over the winter. So
Or
that's like
sometimes
numero uno for me.
Or sometimes you just have an asshole buddy that will grab a hold of a turret and give it a spin.
I have never done that yet.
I have seen that done to guys. Like, this thing was on. I look over, like, well, I've also seen kids do it, where it's like, oh, what's this? Not like leaving children unattended with rifles, but more look at it. What's this doing? And they just grab a hold of it. And especially before like all the exposed turrets were locking turrets, they just grab a hold of it and give it a crank. And it's, oh, well, that was terrible. And, but no, so like Tyler was saying, like doing your zero or confirming your zero is always just a great thing because, well, sometimes when you go through and put things away, like, at the end of a competition season, or you might do oh, hey, I'm going to get back and clean that. And then something happens where you're gone for a year and a half. And you come back and grab your rifle and you're like, all right, well, let's see. Oh, that is not on. And you have to do a little bit of dialing things back one way or the other.
Yeah, zero is a big one for me. Like Tyler said, and like I said, I go out often and do it because I do a lot of scope swapping. But I'll probably go through the safe as well and just start pulling a rifle out, and take it to the farm with me when I go to work. And hopefully my range will start drying up a little bit more now that it's melting out and stuff. And yeah, take a rifle out there and confirm a zero. And another thing I like to do is swap mags. I'll have mags loaded for about 6 months, and when I go do those zeros, I just take those mags along with me and use that ammo. And then when I get back, I'll put those mags in the safe and grab some new ones and do a little mag swapping just so I don't wear my springs out and stuff like that. I know guys who will, keep magazines loaded for years and years, and that's what they're designed for. But at the same time, I don't want to do that, so I'll swap mine out about every 6 months. And
Yeah, and I think it's not just going out to zero is not just good for the confirmation of the zero itself, but even if your gun is dead on, it's good for the practice for your holdovers, um, adjusting your, if you want to change your dial to different distances just to verify, um, getting familiar. I know every year, I have all sorts of different optics, which I have all sorts of different trees and reticles in them. And one thing I like to do is just kind of brush up again on my holdovers. Um, yeah, sight over bore type stuff, whether it's a red dot versus like an EOTech 68 MOA donut. Just kind of brushing the dust off and reaffirming where those things are hitting at different distances.
Yep. And there's one other thing I do before I even leave the house. I did this weekend. I sat there and I threw on a I threw on a shitty 80s action movie and sat down with a couple of my rifles and just gave them a good, not a full deep clean, but popped the bolt carriers out, made sure that everything was cleaned up or not gunked up, because again, I shoot a lot suppressed, and that will cause a little bit more carbon buildup on them than not.
Oh yeah.
So just at the beginning of the year, I like to go through and have a good place to start. So I will throw a little bit of grease, a little bit of lube, and get everything wiped down until it's running slick like it should be before I even leave the house. And some of that is also looking to just inspect some parts, because if you've ran one for a full season, you might have gas keys that are loose if they're not staked properly. It's
well, and I'm a little different, right? Because I like to do 100% deep clean of my firearms in the winter. Like I will take a weekend or two and just disassemble everything to even probably past a field strip level, run it through the sonic cleaner, give it a day or two to completely dry, and then lightly oil everything, put it all back together. And so, yeah, it's still good when you pull it out to definitely just add a little bit more oil. But I try and over the winter not. I try and take the advantage and get rid of all the built up carbon if I can.
yes, and that's one of those where, like I said, you go through and you have your, if you put a light coat of oil on stuff, as anybody who is been in the military before will tell you, you oil up a bolt and then let it sit for a month and then come back and it'll pull all that nasty carbon out of the bolt as it sits. But it's just getting some of it loose and broke free. I did not drop anything into a sonic cleaner this year. I more just, yep, let's go, and made sure that everything was up and running, and then went through and organized ammo, which for some people that's not an issue. For those of us that buy magazines in generational forms.
Right.
Some of us also buy ammunition. I've long said you should buy cheap and stack deep, and now is the time to be stacking.
Yes.
But we're almost back to 2019 and 2020 ammo prices. So, I mean, my office here does not have my ammo in it, but that is definitely like, okay, nope, you go through and make sure that you're not, because like Tyler said, with confirming your zero, it's important to you know kind of know how much ammunition you have and who makes it, because different ammo does different things. Like even
Mhm.
55 grain ball ammo that we know and love because it's the cheap but effective stuff. If you have like PMC versus PPU, they're going to be running like different speeds.
Right. Well, and I've gotten to the point where depends on what I'm doing, right? Like if I'm just doing a lot of the 3-gun we do is under 100 yards. There's not a whole hell of a lot of variation to me in the rounds that I buy. And so for the most part, I'll run whatever. But if we go somewhere where I know I'm going out well past 100 yards, then I predominantly stick with one type of ammo. So again, that's something that goes along with when you're doing the zero, brush it off, reconfirm. But
Yep.
I recommend, at some point there are pretty decent, you know, so for instance, I like PMC X-Tac.
Mhm.
It's not necessarily the cheapest stuff out there, but it's fairly cheap. It's brass and it's pretty consistent. So that's not so much as a big issue for me because I just try and stick with that.
Yeah, I'm with you guys as well. I actually just did what do the recommended and was in my gun room last week and sorting ammo and just making everything accountable and ordering more for this upcoming competition season, and
Mhm.
so I don't break into my stockpile, if you will. So I actually,
Your stash.
yeah, my
Yeah.
stash, my so I don't get into what might come of this world someday. Ammo.
So the other thing that I like to do, kind of moving on from zero, is, I have I got the fix it sticks torque wrench now, and I got a real avid torque wrench, and I
Hmm.
like to go through and hit all of my optics again with the proper torques. My pistol red dots, especially, but even my scopes and everything else on my ARs, I will actually. I just have a little chart. I don't have too many. Um, how do I say this? For the most part, I like QD stuff. So
Hmm.
I don't have too much stuff that is direct bolted to a pick rail, but the 3 or 4 that I do, I just got the torque specs written out, so I can just you know pop that into the torque wrench real quick and knock it out right there on the bench. So it just gives me um, another reassurance that even though, yeah, the wheelers, yep, uh, definitely want to do that before you go out in zero because
Hmm.
nothing will fuck your zero like a loose scope.
And to piggyback on that, I also like to go through my range bag and make sure all my oils are still good and things of that nature, and my dry lube cans and stuff like that. Make sure I have just enough to do a little maintenance out there, a little cleaning, because like I said, you might clean your guns throughout the winter and stuff, but if you set it in your safe for 3 months, it might get a little dry. And so yeah, actually that
Mhm.
happened this last weekend while I was out helping a buddy zero. His AR was really gumming up and stuff, and thankfully I had a bottle of Rem lube, and we dumped half the bottle in his AR just to get it functioning and running, and then it ran like a top. So it's always good to have those things along.
There's now that you mention that, there is one item that I bought recently that I'm really digging. So I used to always take gun lube with me as well, right?
Hmm.
Um, but hops, and I know a few other companies make it too. Hops has this tiny little, I can't even remember, just several milliliter bottle with a
Yep.
steel needle top. That thing, they're like $7 on Amazon, and it's like a precision oiler. I like that way, way better than anything else I've had. And I've had like the push button tops that squirt. I have the spray-ins. I don't even like those because you can't really control how much oil you're inserting or even, where you're applying it. It's kind of like a spray and pray. And so as far as like in the field to give quick, I don't just want to douse the whole freaking gun.
Yep.
I do like to be a little bit more precise with it. And that thing
I think we lost Tyler. He's froze. Hey, Nick, we lost Tyler. And Nick's gone too. So I'm going to piggyback off that again. Yeah, it's one thing I really enjoy having on the range, and I do enjoy the squeeze bottles with the needle tops because I think you can deliver pinpoint accuracy with those, and that's what I use as well. I just covered and smothered because it was a homemade build and it was running really dry. So
yeah.
to have those things along is a must in my range bag.
Yeah. And I get like maybe larger bottles of lube on your cleaning bench,
Yep.
but I don't understand why, there are a lot of companies that have these like freaking pop soda can size bottles of lubricant that they're selling. And I'm like, I don't need that at the range. Yeah, even one of those little ones that Dooley just showed's great.
Yep.
But
Yep, those are handy. I have it's a pen, actually,
yeah, you showed us that. That's pretty neat.
Mhm.
that has that same like tip, that needle tip that you use,
Yep.
and that is super handy. That's in my range bag and just one of those, like I said, a handy tool to have.
Yeah.
Just oh hey,
Well,
I need to put oil right here.
yeah. Well, I like it because it protects. There isn't that lock. I do like the precision of the needle, but you do need to have it. Like I have a small, real avid gun cleaning kit that's kind of like a harder poly case, and it's inside that. So I know that needle head isn't going to get crushed. So
Yep.
you need to have that inside something where those pens, because they have a cap, you can just throw them wherever and not have to worry about it. That's what I really like about those pens.
Yeah, and this is just a little like a 1 ounce or a half ounce.
Yeah. I just didn't like that you couldn't refill them.
Yes, that is the downfall. And this little bottle of oil, I've got like a dozen of these. The other one that I like that does the needle on top for the oils is Lucas. I just realized I'm actually wearing a Lucas Oils t-shirt.
Yeah.
But Lucas Gun Oils, when they came out with theirs a couple years ago,
There's the plastic one too, isn't it?
they have a plastic bottle with a metal
okay.
needle.
Okay. Very cool. And then, one other thing to Garth's, you mentioned you kind of go through your range bag.
Mhm.
I do the same thing, but I kind of do a swap out, whereas like my winter range bag has certain things that my summer range bag does not. So I normally carry hot hands with me, but don't need that in the summer. So I'm normally swapping out the hot hands for bug spray.
See, hot
Yep.
hands are actually something I keep in my range bag year round.
Yeah.
But there's a very specific reason for that.
Can I guess it?
Hypothermia from blood loss.
No. The thermal sighting in.
Okay.
Yes. When you have people sighting in thermals, strangely enough, they don't, or well, I mean, they can see, like what targets look like.
Yeah.
But it's way easier if you duct tape a hot hands.
Sure. Oh yeah. You can get hot hands with adhesive backing now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I can just use the ones I have in my pickup and a little bit of duct tape.
That you could.
Like that's just an easy one for me.
Yeah.
And I've just run into that a number of times where I've had to help some guys out who buy a $5,000 scope and then don't read the manual.
Yep.
That happened this
The
weekend.
fuck you say?
That's exactly what we did this weekend. We used actually tinfoil to set his gun in. And he kept telling me, he kept calling out stuff. He's like, "Hey, what do you think of this? Should I push this button?" I'm like, "I don't know. I didn't read the book. Did you?" He's, "No." I'm like, "All right then."
Strange how that happens.
Mm-hmm.
No, so you guys mentioned like tightening your optics. One of the other things that I will do is as I showed I grabbed the torque wrenches when you were talking about that, is making sure that all of your optics and everything are torqued down to the right spec. I also will go through any attachments. So I run lights on a lot of guns and tape switches and things of that nature. So I will make sure that they are secured like they're supposed to be, or angled foregrips or things of that nature, because I have had those things start to rattle loose.
Oh yeah. I think the big one's the castle nut. I always check the castle nuts for sure.
Yes, and that should be staked.
Yes.
If not staked, then blue Loctite.
Yeah, I actually had a light fall off my gun this weekend because I didn't check it, and it was great. So I'm only dropping $150 stream light on the ground, hoping it didn't shatter.
Well,
if it did, I'd probably go to another light company.
It didn't.
Yeah, I know. I figured it wouldn't.
Yes, Streamlight's a pretty solid brand for that.
Yeah.
But so see, we talked about checking your zero, checking, make sure that you have your ammo and everything is where it's supposed to be. Garth brought up a good point with the mags. Tightening everything down, and then
batteries.
That was actually going to be my next thing. Is I know that like red dots especially are getting way better on the longevity of their battery.
They absolutely are, but those batteries are fairly cheap.
Well, and some of them they say like, oh, it'll last for like, what's the aim point say, like 55,000 hours or something like that?
Let's say 50 or something ridiculous. Like that. Yeah.
But that's also like on setting number 2.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, can you see that ish? And they all have the shake awake features, and or like they'll have shake awake stuff. I just like to go through the batteries.
Yeah, I don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't swap mine out. I have a little. I got it off Amazon. It was like $15.
Mm-hmm.
A little battery case. Now I initially kept it in my truck, but extreme heat and extreme cold are not friends of batteries. So I normally just keep it. Yeah. So I got one in my house. I got one at my work, and anytime I go on the road, I just remember to throw that in, just because some of these batteries, especially get those like weird ones that go in the EOTechs. They're not that common. Now when it's like a coin cell or a double AAA, I can get those pretty much any gas station, so I'm not as concerned with it. But
no, and Sonar makes a good point here.
Yeah,
like some of them do corrode. I do like to change my batteries once a year, and that's just a thing I like to do. I know that when I got home, here a couple months ago, I went through and I did the honorable thing like everyone does, and had a whole pile of batteries ordered from Amazon because I just like to keep some of those on hand.
Oh yeah.
And I went through all of my lights and red dots and stuff like that, and stuff that I obviously hadn't used in well over a year. And the number of them that were dead was actually kind of amazing.
Oh, really?
And I'm not sure if it was like just the ghost drain or whatever you want to call it, where things start to drain out, or if it was they were going dead before I left. But changing or checking your batteries is a good thing to do every year. And I know people are like, "Oh, I just do it on my birthday," or "Oh, you do it Easter weekend," however you want to put it,
Right.
where you go through and just look at all of them and like, "Okay, yep, swap these batteries out." Because if you do something like Garth did and drop your battery or drop your light and it cracks the battery, and then you have corrosion everywhere.
Exactly.
But I have been known to be somewhat hard on equipment.
Yeah, I'm not exactly the kind of person's on them. As we know, when we started the show, and I dropped a crossbow all over my floor.
But so changing your batteries and your lights and lasers, again, it's a good time to get a fresh start for the year because everyone does I'm going to be organized this year.
Yeah, yeah.
And you sit down and you take your range bag apart and you go through. It's like, okay, I have this, I have this, I have this. Sometimes you might go through and be like, that's where that tool went. Like,
yeah, actually, I found stuff in my range bag that I thought I lost 2 years ago. I just pocket I didn't realize was there. So, hey, good for me. Now I have 2 of those.
Yep, and I had to rebuild my range bag and thought I had everything, and then was pulling out some other pieces of kit and went, "Oh, hey, look at this. This is supposed to be in my range bag."
Mhm.
But instead it's in this other green duffel bag because I had it with me elsewhere.
That's and that might bring up another good point is check your kit as well. I have a lot of admin pouches. I like both my chest rig and my body armor. I do a dangler pouch. Couple of things I like to keep in there are small Right in the Rain book. I like the Meg Lula loaders on
Oh, I
me as
love
well.
those.
Yep. Great thing to have on you. And so I just kind of do a cross level and check to make sure that everything's there that I need. I always check to make sure I carry a permanent marker, I carry a pen, and I carry a pencil normally. So make sure that the permanent marker and the pen haven't dried up. Make sure that the tip of the usually it's a mechanical pencil, but make sure it has lead in it, etc., or graphite, whatever.
Dooley, you said you have one of those Megula loaders for the 223. How do you like that?
I do, and it's handy. If you're in a hurry, I still can probably load a magazine faster by hand just because of, muscle memory
Yeah.
but it is very nice. It's effortless to load.
Does it save your thumbs, like they say?
Oh, 100%.
Well, then that's the plus of buying one of those. I have the pistol one, and I absolutely adore it. I want to buy like 2 more because I'm afraid if I ever break it, I'll be angry at myself. Very angry.
Yeah, no, they're very nice. And I do have I have the one for the AR mags,
Yeah.
and they work very, very well. And don't worry, Thomas, it will definitely work for your delicate little fingers. But no, they are handy, especially when you're doing a lot of rounds in a day. That's when they really shine.
Very cool. Not need to invest.
Yeah. So, it's checking your kit. The other thing I was going to say is like making sure this is something I like to do that's not for everyone. I like to just make sure that everything is still fitting the way it should. and that those extra holiday hams didn't make everything stretch out too much. But when you go through, and then I will tape the ends of my straps down, like roll them up to themselves and then tape it down, just to give everything a little bit more of a slick or less chance of things getting caught.
Very good. Yeah, I need to batten some stuff down, ratchet some stuff down. Well, you ratchet some stuff down as well. As you saw at the last class we went to, things were a little loose on me, and I need to fine tune those things. But yeah, there's always things you could do to improve your gear.
Well, and a lot of times, like when it comes to kit, one, have like build a community, like we talked about in the last episode. Find people that you can trust and train with, and things of that nature. But have someone look at you and help you out with your kit, like to adjust straps and things.
You don't want to be some guy walking into Menards with a nylon holster and I don't know how it was worded today. I got a call about it. You saw it, I guess. You were there. You happened to be there.
Yes. The nylon K-bar holster. That dude was wearing a belt that Batman would have been envious of. Like, it was a full-on utility belt.
Did he have a Walkman on it?
He did not have a Discman,
and he is lacking, sir.
But he had, like, I'm not sure if he had his cell phone and his 1998 Palm Pilot.
Oh.
Nice.
As well, or because he had no less than 6 things attached to his belt, to include his K-bar or knockoff K-bar going down the front. It was definitely a sight to behold.
Oh, there was no actual handgun?
That there might have been, but he had it in like one of those like Sneaky Pete holsters, which looks like a cell phone or pager holster.
Okay, gotcha.
And you're just looking at him going, bud, come on.
He's trying. He just needs a little guidance.
Yep, he bought all of his tactical gear out of the back of American Rifleman.
Okay. That's fair.
For anybody who doesn't know what American Rifleman is, that's the magazine that the NRA sends out.
It's a fantastic magazine.
Yeah, you can find out about the latest equipment 6 months after it's been out.
Yes, you can.
But no, that's one of those where having someone check your kit just to make sure of fitment, because again, I say to train in it, because you don't know how things are going to move until they move
or feel.
That's very true as well, because you might not know, oh, I should buy some shellback tactical shoulder pads for this, because it turns out armor is heavy.
Weird. Who knew?
It is.
Like one of the things I did was I went through, it's one of my packs or rucksacks, whatever you want to call it. I grabbed a part of it was talking to Tyler the other day. He was talking about getting some of his gear ready for the Winston. And I grabbed my Eberly stock, gun runner pack, which I think I have a gun runner 2 or gunslinger 2. And went, oh, okay, let's go through and make sure all the zippers still work, make sure that everything's fit, where it's supposed to be. And then, all right, let me drop a long gun in here. And I was going to get ready to do some training type stuff, because like taking that is a pack I would take to a long range class, because it works very well as a rest as well,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and has the built-in scabbard for carrying it, and just there's a lot of net positives to it, and it was one of those. It had features I forgot that it had because I've only used it for very specific scenarios, and went, oh yeah, that's right. Like, I can just drop my Matco 9 in it when everything's folded up, and it looks just like a normal backpack.
Yep.
But wouldn't you know it, there's a suppressed subgun writing right there that's at easy accessed. And
So, does anyone else have any other insights of what you might want to do before you go out this year and start shooting?
well, do you want to keep you and your loved ones safe in this uncertain time?
I really do.
Are you looking for a full kit setup or just to upgrade what you have? Then you need to look at Predator Armor. Quality American-made armor. From lightweight, flexible backpack armor to full plate carriers with plates, IFAKs that are loaded up to save, and Predator Armor has it all. Use code AR-15-10 for 10% off.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually checking the website out today. I think I'm going to order some of their mag pouches. They look pretty solid. So,
Yeah, the S-Tech Kiwi type ones I'm really digging. Just because they put the Cordura in them instead of the actual Molly webbing, so big fan.
Yep.
But yeah, I know I'm trying to think of really anything else.
There is one other thing that we would be remiss to not advocate people to put in. This is just a range bag thing, but it's something that like at the beginning of the year you should probably clean out so that it's ready for the rest of the year. A lens cloth or a lens pen.
I love my lens pen.
Picking those up, and like to us it's second nature, like to have. Like, I have a couple of them because I'm like, oh, I don't want to lose that. But having those where it's, oh, you know what? It might be time to clean that nasty lens cloth that Tyler used as a snot rag at 1.2, And
no judge.
I don't, because I've done it before too. But you know what I mean is some of that where you have the ability to, which should go into, like with the rest of your cleaning kit. But those things are often overlooked.
Yeah, the lens pens are a must for me because I tend, well, especially when I'm changing batteries, I don't think about that, and I smudge my red dots all up, and then I get to the range and it looks like I'm looking through a snow globe. So yeah, those are handy to have.
Another good one, like me, I rock. You want to check your truck too, right? Or like I don't want to call myself I like to have my shit with me, right? So, for example, one of the things that I bought was I went with a Ram 1500 because I wanted those Ram boxes. So, Ram box on the passenger side's got all my tools, tow straps, jumper cables, etc. Ram box on the left on the driver's side has all my different types of ammo, and then within the truck itself, I have, emergency blankets. I have various magazines. Obviously, I have a truck gun. And one of the things is to just go in and check to make sure that all that stuff is still good to go. Because, like the truck gun, for instance, that stays under the seat most of the time, but you should really pull that thing out every once in a while, give it some cleaning love and some lube, and make sure that you're, cycle your mags. I know I had a few in the truck that actually had been in there for a year and started getting some oxidation on them. So I took them out, replaced them with new ones, ran them through. So if you keep your stuff in your vehicle like I do, that's just as important to go through as your range bag.
Very much so. And I also have a pickup with Ram boxes, and it's full of random gear. I even looked at. I was excited to see that the decked, like, bed storage
Mm-hmm.
now has an option for the RAM box as well.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was coming.
So that would mean that you have 6 inches of toolbox on each side and the bottom.
Yep.
I could fit so much more crap in there, but I know I don't need to.
Right.
Because I'm fairly positive that a couple of us could survive fairly well out of my pickup.
100%.
Yep.
It goes to show when your wife calls us that last trip, Garth, do you have your survival kit? No, I don't. Why not? Because I'm with your husband. He is a survival kit.
Brought my dually.
Yes. But for those people who don't have a dually,
His number is
867-5309.
No, it's 605-295-0421.
Oh,
I love
just
that.
kidding. Go find your own. He's ours.
poor
That's
Luke.
number.
Poor Luke.
It's not Luke's number anymore either. It's some poor lady who's a smoker. She's probably 67. She hates us, man. Anytime anyone that wants my number, that's the number I give. Got a buddy who got his number recycled, and that number ended up in one of our group chats. And for like 6 months straight, every time we text each other, this lady would call me of all people, be like, "Stop calling my number. I don't know why you guys are texting me. It's 3 a.m. I'm trying to sleep." I'm like, "I don't know, lady. It's not my fault."
Yeah.
So now, I mean, because of that one call, I give her number out as much as I humanly can.
You're a great American.
Yeah,
You know who else is great Americans?
What's that?
The folks at Patriot Patch Company,
Yeah.
patriotpatch.co. Head over there to get all of your favorite morale patches, pop culture patches, gun cleaning mats, tin signs, and more. Check it out for all your needs at Patriot Patch Company, patriotpatch.co. That was a segue.
That was a segue, man.
Well, do you guys have anything else to add tonight?
Man, I really don't. I think gave everyone the basics. I mean, I there's a few things I need to go check after being reminded, batteries included.
There's one other thing to check.
Check away.
I just thought of.
Okay.
For the people that don't shoot at steel, like a lot. Or don't have their own range or things. Check your targets.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's a good one.
Like your paper targets and stuff like that. One, to find out how many you have.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually built target storage. And
it worked really well.
Tubes. So I went to Menards, or like you could go to any of your
Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever.
Yeah, any of those types of stores. And I bought 6-inch sewer pipe
Mm-hmm.
in a 2-foot length. And then one side just has a cap, and the other side has a cap with a screw on, or the screw on plug.
Mm-hmm.
And you can put about 100 targets inside one of those. And when you roll them up and do that, then, it's in a waterproof container that is also mouse proof.
Yeah.
So you don't have bugs and all of those things, because I've had that before where I bought a whole bunch of, it would be EIC targets, and set them in a Quonset at the farm, and then went to pull them out a week later and couldn't use them because a mouse had decided to chew its way through the center of all my targets.
Oh no.
And so I had to throw that batch of targets away and went, all right, we got to come up with a better way to do this. And that was where my target tubes came in. So if you don't shoot steel, and actually, even if you do shoot steel, I have a couple steel targets that need maintenance because people do things like shoot the carriage bolt head.
No.
Sorry.
Tyler's never seen that happen before either, have you?
No, fucking don't even get me started. The freaking odds. The odds are just I had an IPSC target, and it had 2 bolt holes in the shoulder, and then it had 1 bolt hole right in the chest. And so you had, what it allowed you to do was it allowed you to either suspend it from chains as a gong, or the one in the center actually mounted it to the a post. And I had put a $400 smart target attachment on the back left shoulder, and a corner of it happened to be over top of the little carriage bolt hole. And I said to myself, there is no way that I am going to put a bullet through this half-inch diameter hole at 50 yards, especially when I'm aiming for the center of this target. And sure as shit, I put a bullet right through it and destroyed my $400 smart target attachment. Yeah.
And to be honest, I have no brother. It was me. I'm not going to finish the rest of that quote.
Oh, shit.
No, but that was another thing where leads into maintenance. You got to take care of your steel targets as well.
Yep.
And
that you do.
Like, I think that kind of covers getting back into it. And so, Garth, you said you didn't have anything else to add?
No, I'm clean out.
Tyler, do you?
I'm good, man. I tried to think of everything, that little possible thing I could have think of that I do, and I've imparted my knowledge, and whether it's good or bullshit, that's on you guys.
Yeah, well, I have nothing else to add. I think we all pretty much were saying the exact same thing.
Yep.
So with that, I guess, folks, we'll see you next week, and you stay safe and stay armed. Do you want to support the show? Subscribe and interact on social media. AR-15 Podcast on Instagram and YouTube. AR-15 Podcast on Facebook. AR-15 Podcast 2.0 at gmail.com if you just want to drop us a line. Find us online at firearmsradio.net. Click through our sponsors and support the people who support our show. Primary Arms, VZ Grips, Predator Armor, TacPack, and Patriot Patch Company.